Jake Browning is pissed. Which, honestly, I don't blame him because he just got benched for Joe Flacco. So he's going to be pissed. But, man. If you have the time, definitely go check out Cincinnati Bengals Talk. They have the whole press conference over there on their channel. And you kind of listen to it uncut. It's kind of crazy. But we're going to talk about some snippets today. Shout out to Trags on Twitter for posting this. As always, love Mike on Twitter. But let's go ahead and let's listen up to this because he is livid.
No, I mean, I'm socially aware enough, I think, to handle it on my own. I think it sucks, but like I said, everyone's in the middle. Everyone's in the middle of the season, and you know, I think welcome to pro football. If you don't play well, you're gonna get replaced, and you know, that's what I'm going through. And you know, I think just like the general theme for myself is, you know, anybody that is going through some adversity, whether it's football or personal stuff, you know, if you go through it and deal with it the right way, there's no way you don't come out the other end, you know, a better version of who you were. And so, you know, for me, it's like, you know, trying to respond the right way. Obviously, I'm pissed, and if I wasn't pissed, then I shouldn't be in this locker room. And it's important to me, and you know, I'm aware of the role I played in the offensive struggles over the last few weeks, and you know, but I'm also not shouldering the entire situation. And you know, I went through yesterday, watched my throws.
And that, my friend, is the way to say I'm not shouldering all the you know, problems here. Because Zach Taylor is also to blame. And the offensive line. Let's go ahead and listen to that one more time. One more time for Jake here, baby.
But I'm also not shouldering the entire situation. And, you know, I went through yesterday, watched my throws.
He's not shouldering the entire situation. He's not going to get blamed for the entire situation because there's someone to blame other than him. Obviously, the three: offensive line, Zach Taylor, and, of course, Jake Browning.
Tried to come up with some stuff that I want to work on, and just doing that.
How much different did the offense feel this time compared to 23?
I mean, I'm not going to get into the comparison thing, but, you know, I think there's a lot of different things that you know, that need to go into an offense doing well, and one of them's quarterback taking the ball, but there's a lot of things that go into it. And so, you know, I think that's part of it, but I think at the end of the day, you know, I need to limit some turnovers and stuff like that, but I think there's a lot of other things that, you know, kind of contributed to our lack of offensive production. And, you know, I think for me, I kind of point to even, you know, the Denver game where I did take care of the ball, we put up 3 points. So, you know, I don't know. I think
that is to say it's Zach Taylor without saying it's Zach Taylor. That's how you say it's Zach Taylor's play calling without Zach Taylor's play calling. Because he's saying it's not just him. He's not the only reason why they could not move the ball and they're not successful in offense. Now, if you break that down, what other ways could they not have been successful? Well, one could be the offensive line, right? And two would be the play calling. So it's kind of funny that, you know, indirectly, I feel like he's saying Zach Taylor. It's Zach Taylor who's also the problem. Now, obviously, the offensive line is still an issue too, but I just thought those was hilarious when I first heard it, and I'm like, Jake is trying to be like, yeah, okay, you're going to replace me with somebody else, expect a different result, knowing that it's not just the quarterback that's the issue. And I feel like that might be why Jake is so frustrated, because we all know this, okay? It's not a hidden secret. Quarterback's not the only problem on this team. It's far from the only problem. The offensive line is absolutely atrocious. The head coach, offensive coordinator, Zach Taylor, can't call a game to save his life. He's awful at calling offense. Like, it's not just Jake Browning. So I think what Jake's trying to get out of this, again, I'm just inferring this, I might be wrong, is that you're thinking it's going to be a different result by getting somebody else. Guess what, buddy? It's not. Like, I think that's kind of what his mindset is. Like, okay, yeah, you're going to replace me. You're going to, you know, bench me. But anyone else in this situation is going to do the same thing. So it's not going to change anything by benching me. And I think that might be a little bit also why he's so frustrated.
Obviously, like I said, I'm not dumb or arrogant enough to think that I didn't play my role in the offensive struggles, but you know, I think there's a lot that goes into it, and communication to me was trying to provide a spark on offense after, you know, getting beat pretty bad 3 games in a row.
That's another thing he does go ahead and kind of preface a little bit. And again, like I said, I recommend definitely watching the whole thing on Cincinnati Bengals Talk channel. The whole video. I'll leave a link down below in the description if you'd like to check it out. Shout out to James as always. But that's another factor I think that really when I'm like watching this, I've also watched that. So that's why I'm giving some maybe more insight or maybe a little bit more of like my opinion based on a little bit more than just what's here, because I've seen the whole interview. But beside the point, again, it seems clear as day he's really trying to push that out there that it's not just him. He's not the one you should be pointing all your fingers at. He's not the one who, you know, is to blame as much. You know, he was pretty much set up for failure, and he does say in the full interview that, you know, there was really not much communication at all. Monday, he knew they were looking, and Tuesday, right before they did the trade, they called him up and told him. And that was pretty much it. And he says, you know, he could pretty much walk through the whole entire, you know, building and cry about it. But he goes, nobody cares. Nobody cares if, you know, he's upset. Nobody cares if he's going to be emotional about it. Because at the end of the day, it is what it is. So there's also that factor. Now, the second one here, let's go ahead and get into this one. But here's what I'll say about the last thing before we get into this one. I think the frustration also lies on the fact that, and we heard it over and over again, Zach Taylor, I think he kept telling Jake, don't worry, buddy. No matter what happens, I got your back. I'm going to die on that sword for you. I'm going to have your back. You're my quarterback. And no matter what happens, I'm going to be behind you. And I'm going to say, you're my quarterback. And then what happened was last week, no one went to the game. You know, people were selling their tickets. People were booing. People were, you know, are ticked off, rightfully so, right? All this stuff. People are upset as all bloody heck. And they were like, crap, we have to do something. We have to fix this. Well, let's go get a quarterback. And I think that this is why Jake is also ticked off. Is because they probably told him, hey, listen, it's not just you, buddy. It's the offensive line's an issue. It's also, you know, obviously, well, the offensive line's issue is also Zach Taylor play calling. Zach, you know, last week came out and said, hey, listen, it's all on me. It's my fault. It's my fault, right? And Jake probably ate all that up. He probably ate all that up. Keep telling him in his ear, don't worry, man. Don't worry, man. Don't worry, man. Don't worry, man. And the second Tuesday hits, you're replaced. After all this talk about, hey, don't worry, it's not your fault. Don't worry, I got your back. Don't worry, I'm not going to replace you. Second he gets a chance, replaced. I think that's why, another reason why he's ticked off.
You just got to take care of the ball a little bit better. And, you know, the communication to me for some of the games was, hey, we need to do some more to help you out. And then I had a really bad 2.5 quarters against the Lions. And, you know, I think they took some bad losses trying to provide a spark. And so decided to go a different direction.
Right there. The communication to me was, we're going to help you. We're going to help you out. So again, I really feel like Zach probably told him, dude, it's the offensive line. Like, dude, I'm doing everything I can. The offensive line's just that bad. Jake, don't worry, it's not you. And we're going to do stuff to help you out. And instead of doing stuff to help him out, they go and get his replacement. That's gonna be some anger right there.
What's it been like trying to get Joe? How hard is that transition from being a guy to now trying to get a guy ready? You know, given where you're at this week, what's that transition like for you personally?
My understanding is that's the coach's job to get him ready, and I'm learning the game plan too. So as far as my role and all that is, I'm a player, so just getting ready in case I need to go in.
So I don't know if you heard the interviewer question. The interviewer, what they asked him was, how do you feel being the guy, the starter, and now have to help Joe Flacco get ready to be the starter and, you know, really start transitioning him to be the starter? And as Jake said there, like, that's the coach's job. That's not my job. And a lot of times you see, now obviously Jake's a lot younger than Joe Flacco, but a lot of times you see like an older quarterback, right? And they have to transition into helping the younger quarterback get the start. So I love that response. Like, that's not my job. Like, I'm not doing that crap. I don't care. Like, I love that. Like, not he doesn't care, but that's not what I'm going to do. I'm going to focus on me in case I have to play. And yeah, so Jake is pissed. And again, rightfully so, because I feel like it was not communicated to him well, not well enough, you know, in all this before he got benched. Now, again, I think he deserves to be benched. He's not good. But I don't think it's just him. And I think it's kind of asinine. Pardon me, I shouldn't have said the A word, but my point is also button 9, I guess you could say. Button 9, yeah. It's button 9 to, you know, think otherwise. Like, he's not good. But it's not just him. It's the offensive line. It's the coaching. And it's Jake Browning. It's a 3-layer cake here. And the problem is, replacing Jake Browning, will that fix the situation? It's not going to fix it as in the aspect of you just plug and play another quarterback and now everything's fine. The way it could fix it or temporarily hold it up with Band-Aids is the fact that Joe gets the ball out way faster than Jake. Flacco gety the ball out lickety-split while Jake sits back there for 5-6 seconds and holds the football. And that could help the offensive line out drastically. Joe's also better at reading defenses than Jake. And it's going to help drastically. And I think it's less of... With Joe, I think Zach can kind of just let him go out there and sling the rock. With Jake, what we have seen is Zach really limits him and was kind of like keeping him like in a check down option type of guy. He was going with a dink and dunk offense for Jake, where Joe Flacco, you don't have to do that with, and you can just open it up any way you want. So I think there's that difference as well. But tell me down below your thoughts, opinions, guys. See you guys in the next one.